Warlocks and waffles. Warlocks and waffles. Packed once broken, forged anew. Waffles. Warlocks and waffles. Warlocks and waffles. Warlocks and waffles.
Once broken, forged anew.
Warlocks and waffles.
Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Monday morning. It might just be me. Junie joined the call, and it's just been sitting there. So fingers crossed that at some point you will show up, but I didn't want to keep...
Well. If it isn't Hunter. How's it going, Hunter? Remember me? Do you remember me?
I do.
Do you?
I do. I remember you,
Oh.
Junie.
Because how long has it been, Hunter? Can you riddle me this, bitch?
Hey.
Has it?
It's been 3 episodes.
There were episodes? There have been episodes?
It was 3 episodes.
I'm here. No, Hunter, I'm here slaving over hot dice. And you, where the fuck have you been? Huh?
I've been around.
Have you?
Yeah, I went to PAX. It was fun. I got to hang out with Rosie a little bit. That was good.
Oh, everybody's hanging out with Hunter but me. Okay. Rosie, you in the fucking comments? What the hell? Is this what the fuck I signed up for?
I mean, I will.
You can't just ditch me like that. You know what I was doing those Mondays and Fridays?
One of
fucking
them.
Nothing, Hunter.
One of them you canceled on me.
Oh, we're gonna throw that in my face now?
You were the one who canceled last episode, and you said you couldn't do it on Thursday, and I still knew what you meant. He's gone again, everybody. Oh, nope, he's back. Hi.
I'm giving you one more chance. I'm giving you one more.
Okay.
Don't you do this to me again.
Okay.
Wake up my baby over this bullshit.
That seems like a you problem, bud. Good morning, everybody.
Damn, that's good. That's a callback that nobody even knows about.
Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Monday morning. And I say beautiful in the most frozen sense of the word. It was 70 degrees yesterday, and I woke up this morning and was walking to my office and my teeth were chattering. It is freezing cold here this morning. My house is an icebox. That is just a little bit of deep hunter lore there for you. It means nothing to the rest of the show. Rosie says that Junie needs a hug and a latte, and I believe that is accurate. But welcome back, everyone. It has been 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks? Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Too long. It's been too long.
It's
That's
been
the
2
word.
weeks since our last episode. It has been too long. We were planning on streaming this past Friday, but then Junie had an interview, and that's exciting and more important than our dumb little quarter of the internet. So we took an extra day off, which was fine because I was also kind of dying still from PAX, because I took the train in. So when I came back, I took the train back down, and I just we traveled back on Monday, so I was just working on the train. And then I got home and it was like the end of Monday, and then it was Tuesday, and so I just dove right back into like the daily grind of everything else. And usually I give myself like a day on the after a convention, and I did not do that. Junie has disappeared. He's been replaced by an image of a tavern.
I'm just switching over to the non. There we go. Yeah, that's the thing. This is whatever. No, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go back to. I don't care. Everybody's seen the illusion now. Everybody knows that I'm where I'm at.
Everybody's taking a peek behind the curtain.
Everybody's seen the bullshit.
For you at home who are listening to the audio version, just imagine that Junie is sitting in a tavern. And allow that to stay true in your heart. Keep the magic of Christmas alive in your own way. And yeah, Junie is sitting in a little fantasy tavern and not in a room with a tiny little green screen and a camera that keeps following him.
It's a respectable sized green screen.
You know how I know it's a small green screen, Junie? I know it's a small green screen because we have to trim up the video on either side because your arms go out of the frame on the green screen, weirdly.
That's an angle thing. That's a perspective thing. If I were to make it, if I were to pan it back. Oh, fuck. I gotta turn that thing. I gotta turn the tracking off. It keeps constantly trying to find me. And I talk with my hands, so I can't do this shit.
Yeah, it was a poor decision, my friend.
It was good at the time.
One of the founders of Start Playing, Nate, has a camera that like also has motion controls to it. And my favorite thing about it is every time he takes a sip of water during a Zoom call, it zooms in on his face.
No, that's funny.
It just does it every single time.
I turned it off, but for me it's an L. If I do an L shape, it would zoom in and out. But I don't need to do that every single time.
In other news, I'm drinking an energy drink out of a skull right now, which feels very fitting for our show. I found this at GameStop.
Not sponsored, but I'm drinking flavored water out of a Great Value brand water.
We could be sponsored. Walmart, get at us.
We're the only TTRPG morning show at 8 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast, and that's non-verifiable.
You can't prove they could. I'm sure if anyone spent 10 minutes trying to disprove the absurd statements, it wouldn't take long. We just claim things. Davy Jones in the chat says he has a Walmart hookup. Davy Jones, make it happen.
Get in our DMs.
We'll take. Hey, you know,
get
Junie,
us in their DMs.
You know what we are, and I wish I had your zoom in camera, but you know what we are, Junie. Our stream for Walmart would be a great value.
Shit, that's good.
So Walmart, if you're out there, we know you're listening. Give us money, and we'll tell people that you should, I don't know, go to Walmart and buy cereal. I don't know.
I get a lot of DM
I don't shop at
supplies
Walmart.
from Walmart. I do. I literally just did a Walmart delivery order. It's a great thing for parents that can't leave the house.
I shop at
Also, in that bit,
Aldi's.
I dropped a lot of dice, and I feel like I'm going to step on some really pointy dice.
I hope you step on a D4 because you started my
Bastard.
morning by screaming at me, and that's very rude. Um,
I want to look at the chat because I feel like I saw the flying in the beginning where it's just like, what is happening?
yeah, there was definitely some confusion. Slaving over hot dice is a very good line, Junie. But yeah, I shop at Aldi's for my groceries. There's also a grocery store near me called the Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, which is my favorite grocery store. If you don't have a Grocery Outlet Bargain Market by you, they sell stuff that is no longer in season. So like right now, I can stock up on all of my favorite Halloween cereals. So like you want that Captain Crunch that turns your milk green? I can buy that right now. So suck it. Yeah, they sell everything like way out of
That's
season.
a weird flex.
It is a
It's
weird
a
flex. Yeah. When I used to be a youth leader for our church, we had like the
I don't know why I find that so funny. I apologize. I don't know why that. Maybe it's the shirt and beanie combination, the skull thing. I don't know.
I feel like every youth leader wears a sweatshirt and a beanie, though, is the problem.
No, that specific shirt.
Oh, the start. It does have have a lich on it.
Not
yeah.
like people with long sleeves, youth leaders. Like no, it's the lich shirt. The skull.
I'm drinking out of a skull,
and, like,
sitting in front of a demon statue.
You're in a weird sex den right now. It's it's weird.
This room is not big enough to be a sex den. This is a closet.
Any room is big enough to be a sex den.
I'm not flexible. We are here. We are a TTRPG morning show.
This is a TT. I was just about to say it. That we're a TTRPG morning show.
Yeah, it's this is a TTRPG morning show. I'm sure you could tell that already. But welcome to the stream, everybody. You interrupted me. I didn't get to tell why I brought up being a youth leader. We had like a snack shop at the youth group. Cause it would have bothered me because it wouldn't have completed the story, and I started a story, and then there would have been people online who would have been like, why did this even come up? Anyway, we had like a snack shop, and I ran what I called the underground snack shop. So I would be in the snack shop and like selling all the regular things. Like we had like regular candies and bags of chips and hot dogs and pizza and stuff like that. But if you came up to me and you said, "I'm here for that secret stuff," I would have just a bunch of random stuff that I had bought at Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. So I would have like, you want a bowl of a random cereal? Absolutely, I have that. You want a bowl of potato chips that taste like buffalo wings? I have that. You want a can of soda that is ranch flavored? I have that. You want a can of Shaq Fu Punch, Shaq's fruit punch brand? I have that. You want a can of Soda Shack, the Shaq's cream soda brand? I also have that.
Shaq products. What?
Here's the thing, man. Grocery Outlet Bargain Market sells things that other stores aren't selling, so they sold a lot of Shaq flavored foods. I
love that you've been there enough that you can say that like 3 times fast.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. Yeah,
you're really good at that.
Yeah,
the first time you said grocer, and I was gonna serve you, and then it was like the momentary slip up, and then I've been saying it wrong in my own mind. Like I have been like oh grocery.
Yeah. Every time we go there, if it's said in our house, so Grace will be like, yeah, I went to the grocery outlet, and they have a jingle that goes along with it. So every time the name is said, Grace will be like, I went to the grocery outlet, and I'll be like, Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. So Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, if you're out there, I will take a sponsorship from you. Please, I will accept payment in gift cards. You are very close to my house. Anyway,
I'm working on that outline that got dust on it.
It was a long tangent, and I apologize. Rosie said the words don't even sound like words anymore for Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. That's fair. It's actually all one word.
Barely words.
This is my D&D character. His name is Grocery Outlet Bargain Market. You got any fun stuff happening? It's been too long. I didn't even open the outline this week.
Because it was buried under dust.
Yeah, there were spider webs growing all over it. I didn't want to go near that thing.
Yeah. I have a game with it's the Spelljammer game with those children.
Yes.
And I've inserted the running Feywild characters into it as like a rival like thing they had to fight. And Valathorian Thibault, who uses that Spanish accent, the kids don't recognize it as a Spanish accent. They think it's French, and and so they call him. Oh, what do they call him? It's not couscous. They call him. Oh, I could actually just look it up. But they just don't call him whatever it is, right? Whatever his name is. And then they there's a panda character, like looks like a panda token, right?
Okay.
They call him Bessie because one of them have decided he is a bear, a cow, and everybody's just like, that's
panda.
not.
He is a bear.
He's a panda, but like the black and white spots. So it's like we get the color scheme, but it's like it was nothing enough to make it seem like that. Okay. But then he called Valathorian Thibault like, oh my god, it was something like je ne sais pas or something. It was something so dumb but still Frenchy and along the line of what he was going with, and the entire group turned on that one kid, on the cow kid. It was so funny because it was like Bessie this, and somebody was just like and then people were just coming up with dope fire nicknames for the characters, because every time anybody you name an NPC and it's any way, shape, or form it's possible to make fun of it, your players are going to come up with a stupid nickname that you're like, well, that's going to be what this character is going to be called from now on.
Yeah.
It's, if it's something, oh, heaven forbid it's a name you put thought into, because then they're going to butcher it. It's almost like they can sense it.
Well, any NPC that is like clearly is designed for like being important, right? Any NPC that I have put any effort into, like, oh, this is going to be an important quest giver. They're going to give you like all sorts of stuff going forward. Like they're going to be an important member of the story. It doesn't matter what you've named them. Their name is garbage. The number of NPCs that I've introduced that somebody is just like, their name is what? And then proceed to just absolutely ridicule him and give him a dumb like a dumb nickname. It is a thing.
It's unfortunate. It is our curse. But what is I make a fun that's true. It's always fun. Like I know I've made dumb NPC names that I've like this is me making fun of it. This is that. I've recently in a lot of like lower stakes games, like with younger people, or definitely one shots. If it's like this is the combat, and I think there's I don't want to get in the weeds with this one, but I think there's different kinds of combat encounters where this is a numbers, a lot of people, flare, almost montage fight scene. Everybody's gonna be able to do things kind of fight scene.
Right.
And then there's a combat encounter where it's like there is a thing, a rancor type of thing. There's a minotaur. There's one thing that is the big thing you're trying to fight. So anytime it's like there's a bunch of thingies, minions, whatever the heck, I just full blown go, all right, guys. I use Owlbear so they can name them. I'm like, all right, guys, name these tokens. Go. And at that point, it's just canon. Whatever they name them, it becomes the case for those things. Yeah.
when I add tokens on Owlbear, because I use the initiative tracker in D&D Beyond, and it
Mhm.
will label everything as like Kobold A, Kobold B,
Yeah.
Kobold C. So I just put like A, B, C, D onto the different tokens of the same creature. Um, and my players in my one group started adding um uh adding like names to those tokens that start with those letters.
Yeah, I've
So
done that. I've done
yeah,
that. It's like, hey, just in this order, do A and keep going
yep.
that way. You know what I mean? So I've done that.
Um, the the worst one for me was when it's a like a monster that I didn't put a name onto, like a letter onto, because it's the only one. It's like the big imposing like horrifying one, and they'll name it something like Fluffy Kitty. And I'm like, okay, now when it gets to its turn in initiative, I have to be like, okay, now it's the Fluffy Kitty's turn. And it's like, you're really taking some of the punch out of that. It's a death claw. Like, please show it the
Yo,
respect it deserves.
speaking of taking the punch out of it, I have an update on on the one thing I think we both agreed on I shouldn't do anymore, and I did it again. Do you know how I told you that I run sheep chase a lot, and
Yes.
I end up making like the evil apprentice
Yes.
someone that's young?
Yes, we're all
I
familiar with how you tell all of your players that they need to murder a child.
I don't say they need to murder a child, but it's more fun when there are children in the game. So it was a
Hmm.
game of adults. It was one, two, three. It was four adults
Hmm.
and two children. Like it was parents and then like an eight or like a little kid, a middle kid that's like tween, and then an adult kid with their boyfriend. Like it was like a whole family gathering, and it was really nice. So I was like, you know what? Having them be younger, it'll be like more these younger kids will be able to relate to this kid in some way. Oh, I don't want to use chores, right? Do chores or anything. The dad, oh my God. Like they all set up. The dad's a barbarian. He's like, I'm readying my axe. He's like, they're all like, I'm gonna murder whatever comes through to this door. And then a kid comes through the door, like a youngish person. And they're all like, they all get the hint of like, okay, we need to find another solution to this. That's the instant reaction,
Hmm.
except for the dad. The dad was just like, oh well, damn. All right, so I held that attack, right? So I
Uh
did,
huh.
and then the mom was like, "What are you doing? It's a kid." It's just like I said, I'm attacking it. I'm gonna kill this kid. And I was like, "What?" And the group talked him down.
Oh man,
But like, it's always.
I would have had the rest of the party roll initiative against him to try and like grab
Oh,
his
most definitely.
arm before they could
It
before he
it
could
was
swing.
it was really funny though, because like it was just like he wasn't like he's not like 8, you know what I mean? But it's young enough where it's like, okay, it's somebody who's misguided youth, we can do be heroes in different sense. But it was just so funny because he was like, I said, he knew he could do non-lethal. So I don't think he was intention like I'm gonna kill it, but it was just funny because he was just like, well, this kid's evil. Like this kid is evil incarnate.
Hmm.
And then the look, I love doing that for younger players because they have that look of realization when I go, no one asked for any details about this guy.
Right.
The whole time it was he was an apprentice, he did a bad. No one asks for any information. And then they go from then on, we can ask things and people will tell us so we can know what to do. Like, I mean, we
Hmm.
could walk into something having this information. So it's just a learning moment for people that are newer into D&D. Like, oh wait, we can learn things
Right.
and not be surprised by this, and then deal with it in a different way. But
I give you a hard time about it, but I do think it is a valuable lesson to teach new players. Of like everything is not always what it looks like.
mhm.
I have a group right now that is just blindly accepting, and I'm going to keep this very vague, so that it could apply to any of my groups, and they won't know which one of them it is. But I have one of my groups has been just blindly accepting quests from this individual, and they ask no questions. They never get clarification. They never do they never have follow-up questions. They just get the quest and they're like, oh yeah, we'll go do that thing. And then they do the thing and they bring the thing back and they're like, here you go, and then they move on. And like they never ask any questions. It's very entertaining to me. And these are all like people who have played for a while, like people who should have some semblance of, hey, do we want to ask follow-up questions about why they want this thing? No? Okay, sounds good. We'll bring it to you. Here is how much we want for it. Davy Jones says, it's us. We're working towards our own demise. We have been paid handsomely for it. You guys also could be this group. It could apply to any of my groups and none of them will know which one it is. Davy Jones' group recently used a wish to break a curse on one of the members of their party. When they had a wand that was an artifact called the Curse Breaker wand, that its only quality is to remove curses. But instead, they went on this whole side quest to track down an artifact called a monkey's paw that was supposed to grant wishes. And they took it and they made their wish and the curse was removed, but it basically negated their entire last quest, which was very, very entertaining to me.
That's good.
David
just-
Jones
I
says
feel
he's still fudging mad that they're such huge idiots. Davy Jones was feeble-minded and had to sit there for most of a session as the rest of the group just bumbled around trying to figure out, well, how do we remove this curse? After like the whole mission they just went on was to retrieve this wand that literally its only purpose is that it like breaks curses.
Removes the curse.
Yeah.
Do I sound weird now?
No.
No. Okay, good. I added noise removal because I thought that my fan was coming through.
I'll just turn you up a little bit on that.
Okay. There is a doc and there was a vague idea of an outline for today and stuff like that. But I feel like this is turning into just a catch-up episode where we're both telling each other the fun things that have happened recently. But I have to do this because I finally did it to the scale that I've always wanted to do this. I finally did the best bait and switch. I've always wanted to do this tournament of power with gods, and I might have mentioned it on here before, where it was a library game. It's a bunch of people. They're younger, they're newer, so they don't know what to expect. And Hunger Games style, they're all kidnapped and put into an arena.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you are here for power, money, glory, and they're all there for whatever reasons. And then, but today, you're here for our entertainment. Dun, 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 dun. And the arena erupts in light. They all see like angels, demons, and I just put any matter of creature, dragons. I was like, that thing looks like it's like a jellyfish but with feathers. And I just start naming any combination of adjectives, right? So they're all like confused.
It's the arena from Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. And they're like, all right. And then I'm like, everybody roll. It's not initiative, but I take 2 of them. And then and the angel it starts out as a deva. I make it real huge and it slowly starts to shrink, and its sword becomes like shrinks into a mic, and it has like a pink, like not a pinstripe suit, and it becomes just a game show host. And it's like really unthreatening, but it's just
samurai.
Like, to tell them. But what is, that's funny. Yeah. But to show them the stakes, I do 2 things. One, I put a goblin, a very giant goblin with 2 swords that are as big as itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, and remember, at stake today is your very existence. And I have him point to the goblin and snap, and the goblin disappears. And the crowd cheers. And I did it, and I saw all their eyes widen. And then I was like, if anybody wants to roll insight or something like that, and I was like, he did that with no regard or caring, or like it was nothing to him type of thing. And then I 2 players come up, and then it's just like, all right, now we will test your skills, your accuracy, your agility, your dexterity. And it's like, and you will do it with this coin. And a table comes up, and on that table are 2 forks, like face down like this, facing each other. And then he puts it on the table. It's like, now you must grab this coin and roll it to fit into the spokes, into the tines of the fork across
It's
from your
such a
opponent.
low stakes
Go.
game for just the
And then I put
highest
it down.
stakes.
Yeah, and then I was like, go. And they're like, what are we doing? It's like, you have to roll, like, imagine, like, and I did actually look for a quarter because I was going to make them do it. And then the entire competition is just minute to win it games.
That's so much fun. I love
And then
that.
anytime, and it was like somebody rolled, missed, and then the other person rolled and got it. And he's like, is that it? And I was like, the crowd goes crazy. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, we have a champion. Yes. What is your name? Oh, yeah. And then I snap, and then he snaps the other person out of existence. That person sitting at the table is gone, right? I was like, oh man, I feel a little bad. But what I did was also at the front end, I put like skyboxes with deities. And somebody rolled a natural 20, and I was like, their patron, they don't have a god, they don't have a unifying god, but this is the group that uses Mert as just like a wealthy person.
Right.
They thought they saw Mert. So when if unexist that one person, I had can you come with me to the hallway, please? So everybody saw me take this kid out of the room and come in, and he was sad, right? What I told him was like, all right, you're in Mert's skybox. There's shrimp cocktail. There's pillows. There's comfy. It's really nice in here. So enjoy. And he's like, okay. And I was, oh, act sad though. And he's like, okay. And he goes, and he's just like, the next kid to go unexisted, I have him tell him the same thing. They pull chairs over to a corner and are chilling because they know they're in a freaking skybox now, right? Watching this arena. And whenever I say, like, it took about 3 rounds before somebody's like, oh man, can I do something? I was like, I asked you guys what you want to do. I'm not just talking to them. And then they realized they could do things from the skybox without potentially getting noticed. So then they were trying to like affect the minute win it games with spells and shit.
That's awesome.
It was really the one thing was the easiest thing. It was literally like eat a cookie off your face like that, and it was just they had to roll a dexterity check.
Yeah.
One guy did it instantly, and the other person didn't even get to do anything. Like he like it was a who did it first, and he did it fast. The last group was DDR. It wasn't even a minute to win a game. I just literally had their platforms turned into squares. Slate comes up, and then you hear and then I was like, then colors start erupting. Somebody was like, are we playing DDR? And it was like the dwarven cleric paladin, the most stoic one who was a librarian, was the one that actually won it and then defeated all these children.
That's so good. I love that so much.
It was really good. And it was just funny watching them all die and then go into this skybox.
Yeah. This is why I miss in-person games. Because like you can never do something like that in a like an online game. I guess like technically like Discord and Zoom both have like those
Zoom
little built-in
rooms,
you could do a breakout room, or you could do one of those things where you have the whatchamacallit, like they have those little like games that you can play through like Zoom or Discord. Like theoretically you could bring in something like those, but like there's just something about like, we're going to bring you into like a room all together, and if you want to pass, you need to bounce this ping pong ball into that cup and then stack another cup on top of that ping pong ball and then bounce a ping pong ball into that cup and build a tower. Like I love that. That's so good.
If I'd have prepared better and had the actual stuff, what I was gonna do was like if they had good stats or did rolls, that's when I would give them like 2 shots at something. You know what I mean? Because then it would reflect like, oh, you're really good at this, so you get 2 coins. Like, you know, it's like 2 shots essentially, something like that. Instead we just did it with rolls and describing it dramatically.
You could also do it where like you're really good at dexterity, so your opponent has like 2 forks that are sitting there, and you have like double the space to like slide it in there. I like that a lot. That's really good.
It was a lot of fun. After we had enough people to do like enough winners and losers, it was a dodgeball game. And have I told you how I think I've talked about playing dodgeball here, right? how I do dodgeball in D&D?
I don't know if you've talked about it on stream. I know we've had a conversation about it.
It's really fun in that it's going to be more of like side initiative, not like full initiative, because
Mhm.
the ball or multiple balls are just going to be on one side. So it's almost like you have like, initiative on each side type of thing.
Mhm.
But what I do is it's usually magical in some way, and the way I do it is attacks and magic. The dodgeballs absorb everything
Okay.
and become the attack, right? So
Nice.
if
Okay.
they if they attack with a dagger and they like almost like volleyball hit it with the dagger,
Mhm.
the ball as it's flying, daggers fly out and it starts almost buzz sawing. Or somebody
Horrifying.
hit it with a hammer. Somebody
Yeah.
hit with a hammer and they hit it and it almost turned into a brick. And when it hit the
Yeah.
person, I was like, it feels like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
But the librarian didn't want to hurt anybody, so she
Mhm.
cast a bless on it. And I was like, okay, she rolled. The kid was, and I was like, if you're trying to dodge it, they have disadvantage. If you're trying to catch it, you have to roll higher than their like the thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he didn't roll high enough, so he got hit. But I was like, you get hit, but it feels like a warm hug. It feels nice. It feels like a nice summer day. It's great. You're out and poof, you're out of existence, but it feels nice. One kid, the smartest kid, the one kid I was hoping would do this the whole time, he needed to do the last shot, and he's like, once he realized that, oh, can I cast magic missile into this? And I was like, yes, you can. And the guy was like, all right, I'm trying to dodge it, and I was like, no, the ball is gonna look like it's going over here, and it's gonna do a crazy zigzag, and it's
Mhm.
gonna hit you, because magic
It's
missile is an
magic missile. It
automatic
doesn't
hit.
miss. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was almost
Oh man,
like if he shot it, it
magic
ricocheted
missile.
it.
You cast magic missile. The ball splits into 3 and eliminates 3 targets.
I was tempted to do something like that, but I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it as an
This is
auto hit and not
it's an
like a
OP
the
dodgeball
the
spell.
what I did for the last roll, because it was like a natural 20 and like the 2 kids failed.
Mhm.
Oh no. It was the last kid, but I said the goblin was back. I said that it hit the last kid, but also hit the goblin. So for magic missile, I could have like had it pinball
Right.
off of each other. So that would have been a good way to do it. But yeah, it's fun. So yeah, dodgeball is just like literally. Well, as soon as I said I had to ask, because I don't know what kids do in school anymore. I had
Mhm.
to go. Does anybody here in real life not know the rules of dodgeball? And then they all nodded, but one kid was like, dip, duck, dodge. Like
Dip,
he just
dip and dive. Yeah.
yeah. He just rattled them off, and I was like, there we go. This guy gets it.
Yep. The only thing you need to
Uh,
know about dodgeball is if you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball.
and then I threw a wrench at them.
Yeah.
And that was good.
One guy just
Hunter,
throws a wrench.
Okay, look, I know it's been 4 years since we've done this, right?
It has been an eternity.
So I'm almost positive we did something at this point, at this juncture, and I'm pretty sure it was some sort of, what do you call it? Like it was like an infomercial, where we would hawk. It was a dance. It was a dance. Oh, it was a dance. This is where we do our dance break.
This is the Ranger Report. Welcome everybody to the Ranger Report. This week we have some very exciting news. It is spring. Just kidding, it's still winter. Just kidding, it's spring. That's right, everybody. The town has been infested with false spring mephits. These mephits oscillate back and forth between fire and ice, at will with no warning. And they thaw everything and then freeze it, and it goes back and forth, and it's just absolutely horrifying. Junie, do you have any other updates you would like to bring to the people?
Oh my God. Yes. Damn, that's the weather and the news right there. In other news, Jeff is running for mayor again, and no one likes him. There's unfortunately no other candidates. Other candidates have mysteriously disappeared, and Jeff is the only one left. So in this town, whatever town your adventuring party is, Jeff is running for mayor, and there's slots on the ballot, and you think that the people will literally pick anyone other than Jeff. So this might be the prime opportunity for someone in your party to undertake those political aspirations that they've been like, holding off because of adventuring. Everybody would literally be okay with some sort of figurehead. So even if you went off to do adventuring and weren't around, there's like a city council that'll deal everything. So they just don't want Jeff to have any sort of power whatsoever. So there is an open call for literally anyone to run for mayor. It's everybody's chipped in a little bit of money to run this ad campaign for literally anybody else. So candidates are welcome to apply at the nearest tavern.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do we have a sponsor this week, Junie?
Yes, we are still being backed by the totally real, the 100% not a gag. As I'm gonna say every time I do it, I know I see your face every time I do it, so that's why I make it crazier each time.
This
not your
this
grandma's
ad
bag.
is a real company and not at all a scam.
We just say a fake political campaign. I can't transition without saying this disclaimer.
It is a real company, not your grandmom's bags. Yeah. It is definitely real. They have all sorts of stuff. They've got pet bandanas, bags, other bags, smaller bags, larger bags, and more pet bandanas. Do you like things and or stuff? They have those both. Do you want your pet bandanas to match your bags or your bags to match your pet bandanas? We can do that with Not Your Grandmom's Bags. If you go to the site and use code WAFFLES at checkout, you'll get 15% off your order. Perfect for all of your dice, minis, pens, loose buttons, anything you need to carry. They can fit in a bag. I think that's about it. Anything else you wanna plug?
Just that we just got this in. There's another bit. Just seriously, people don't want Jeff. They're reinforcing. They will offer double the salary of whatever was like. It's almost like they're imposing more taxes on themselves.
Yeah.
To have someone other than Jeff. It's nobody's ever seen this type of political upheaval.
We've just gotten a new update from our correspondent on the ground, Rafiki. There is a new candidate. His name is Joff, and he has a striking resemblance to Jeff, but he has a mustache, so they couldn't possibly be the same person. Probably no problems here. Your party should probably just move along. Don't even worry about it. This has been the Ranger Report. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Now back to the show. Junie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was at PAX. I bought a book.
What if I just got up and left?
Please don't. I want to talk about my cool new book. While I was at PAX, I bought a book. This book is called Mutated Monsters. It is published by Dice Dungeons. If you've seen their booth at conventions before, very, very cool. They have a ton of dice and stuff like that. This is the book here, Mutated Monsters. It is filled with all sorts of new monsters for 5th edition D&D. Some of them are incredibly funny. Like they have a whole section on goblin variants. There are 3 different goblin variants. One of them is a blinking goblin that just sort of opens portals and uses it to steal things. One of them is a divine touched goblin, which is this like angel goblin here, which is just delightful. Love that.
That looks bananas.
Yeah, I love it. They also have a telekinetic goblin, which is just like a goblin who has daggers floating around his head. I love that. They also have absolutely fucking horrifying creatures, like this thing, which is the Annihilation Worm, Annihilator Worm, and is absolutely horrifying. The things that I really appreciate about this book, in addition to the fact that it has like a lot of very cool stuff in there. Is that there are also sections on like combat tactics, optional loot, that sort of thing. I also really
I like
appreciate
optional
this.
loot. That's
I
good.
appreciate this one line down at the bottom of the Annihilator worm page that says, "It is invincible. It will never stop. Run."
That sounds like some Pokedex entry right there.
Yeah. The optional loot for the Annihilator worm says inside the worm can be found the treasure of 1,000 dead cities. You find 3 legendary magic items. You find historical knowledge of many dead civilizations in the form of magic tomes that resisted the worm's digestion. You find a treasure trove of wealth, gold, jewels, and other riches worth 100,000 gold pieces. And that's just what's
Holy.
inside the worm, not even what somebody would probably pay you to take it out.
Yo, I don't know. I'm really sorry. I looked at the chat when you started saying this.
Uh-huh.
I thought this was in the Goblin for a second. My face, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, are they just like it just spews out like a bag of holding like out of this goblin?
Man,
like,
that's
and then
so
I was like,
funny.
oh, I came back.
Yeah.
But like if you saw look at my face, it was nuts to have all that in one creature, but then I was like, really like all this in a goblin.
Yeah, it is a challenge rating 25, with a natural armor class of 22. Like this thing is
Damn.
horrifying. It is also it is a creature from another time and world. It leaps through space and time searching for new food. Once every 10 days, the worm can cast the spell Plane Shift and teleport itself to a random location that has life and food for it to devour. Like, it's
Oh my God.
horrifying. There's also like all sorts of like oozes and like armored there's a clockwork elephant in here. There is a
You're gonna have to send me pictures because I don't want to show all their art, but I also
Yeah.
want to be like, I need to see that.
I
clockwork elephant.
I like this one. It's a cricket panther, which is kind of like a dumb little displacer beast.
I was about to say, yeah.
And I love it dearly. But yeah, I will send you pictures of some of my favorite ones. But the other thing that I think is very, very cool in here, and I do want to shout out, is some of the monsters have items associated with them as well. Like specific items that you can only get if you are like killing that creature. Or
Okay.
items that can be made from like the hide of that creature. I'm trying to find an example because I know I saw one in here. Yeah, the cloak of lightning. It's a cloak that has 5 charges. While wearing this cloak, when you are hit with a melee attack, you may use your reaction to expend 1 charge of the cloak. A creature of your choice within 5 feet of you must make a dexterity saving throw, taking 2d8 lightning damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. Which is this like cloak made from the like hide and mane of this lightning breathing
like that.
lion.
That is cool.
Which is very cool. There's also a whole section in the back that has like character options. There's a section on layers, I believe. Like there's a
that's cool.
lot of cool stuff in here. So I highly recommend check out Mutated Monsters from Dice Dungeons. And Dice Dungeons, if you want to like come on the show and talk about the book or other stuff you're doing, let us know.
Definitely. I just want to know what mental state they had to get into for some of these things.
Dude, I love a mutated monster. Like I saw it and I was like, oh ho ho ho, you've written this just for me. These are my favorite things, is when I present something that should be one thing and it is fact a different thing.
Oh, I had to do that because I started to get angry whenever there was like a player that just they know too much, they've experienced everything. So it's to the point where, you know, we describe it as one thing, but we're using the stat block of something else.
Right.
Or I just get to the point of like, what would make sense for this to have or do?
Right.
And I just go off with whatever. And, you know, it's like, you thought you knew. Roll, maybe your character does know this. Well, then you're surprised. You and your character are surprised. But guess what? This thing shoots lightning. Like, that's the case here.
Yeah, I had a player. He was like maybe 12. But like he would read the monster manual for fun, and he would like memorize all the information about the monsters. And so we start getting into like encounters in the game and stuff. And I'd be like describing the monster, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay, that sounds like this thing. So it has this many hit points. Its armor class is this amount. It does these things." And I'm like, "That's very impressive. Let me destroy you." Like
You got it.
he
You
it was
got it.
he was so much fun to play with, but he was like, because he knew everything about all of the monsters, it became very difficult to like surprise him on things. So I started pulling a lot from the like Kobold Press monster manuals. I started using all of those other stuff. I started homebrewing a lot because I wanted
Did they make it
his
so they character knew, or did they own like it was just them and they were barbarian? They like did they ever flavor it as like
no,
the
they never
person knew?
flavored it as like their character knowing it. It was the
See,
it
that
was
makes it almost a little bit more acceptable if it's like,
see,
roll, you
I
study, you know what I mean?
I
Something
disagree.
like that.
Yeah, like I agree with that in the sense of like, if your character is somebody who has like studied this topic a lot, and so you want to study that topic a lot to be able to like have that information at your
Yeah.
disposal without having to like roll for it. Like totally
Oh, I would
get
still make
that.
people roll.
Um
Like I would roll and then go like how high, that's how much you remember type of
mhm.
thing. Like action
See,
recall in the heat of the moment.
I do depending on the character. Usually what I'll end up doing is like, okay, like you have studied this thing. So like the information that is publicly available is like available to you. Like feel free to read up on that. If you have that information just at the tip of your tongue and ready to go when it is necessary, you don't need to roll it. Because I would much rather like the player be fully invested in it.
Yeah.
But it is a different situation for me when it's like I am just a player who has memorized all of this information to be able to use it in the game, and it's like, okay, but like if I'm throwing up if I'm throwing a monster at you and you are dissecting my monster and going, okay, wizard, this monster has a very low intelligence, so you're going to want to target that for all of its saving throws. You're going to want to do A, B, and C for like all of your attacks. Target this thing instead of that thing, and like lays all of that out for the party. It's like, okay, but you're defeating the purpose of the encounter. Like, let me almost kill you at least.
Yeah, that's
The
the fun part.
Yeah.
Let me almost do that.
But yeah, so I love a monster that isn't what it seems. And from a quick like read through of the book, I haven't even like read through the whole thing yet. But from a quick like glance through it, it looks like there is a ton of stuff in there that at surface level resembles something else. And then it starts fighting in like you can see on the cover here. That's the chimera. But like the lion has 4 eyes and like tusks that come out, and the goat head is like
I got you.
this like skull form, and like so there's like things there to be like, that's a chimera, and then it starts attacking you and you're like, that's not a regular chimera. Like I love that. Rafiki said, as a GM, having the monster manual knowledge and having to blank it from your memory when you are a player, yeah, 100%. There are definitely times where I will like know a monster very, very well, and I'm like, I want to do this thing as a player. Let me just pull it up real quick and like see if that is something feasible, instead of like wasting a turn like trying to do something. But usually that is not a case of like I want to target the like whatchamacallit. Like I want to do the whatcha I'm blinking because a bot entered our chat, and
Yeah.
man, there he is. Be gone, bot. Yeah, what was I saying? Bum bum bum. Ba-dum, bum.
blanket
Oh,
roll.
like I'll pull something up to make sure that like it's something I'm capable of doing.
Mhm.
But I would it would never be a case of like here is this like this spell that I want to cast against this thing. Like I will that do what I want it to do? Do they have any resistances to that? It's usually like I want to do this like complex series of maneuvers. And like let's see if it, like, for example, a flying snake. Like I want my brother to launch me into the air. I want to jump onto its back. I want to try and take it to the ground using A, B, and C. um
Correct.
will that work? So like I want to, before I sit there and like argue my case, because I know that what I'm suggesting is an absurd thing, and thank you very much, Rafiki, for letting it happen.
Yeah.
The before I do that, I want to just check and make sure that like, okay, is this a creature that is like flying, or does it have like a floating thing where like it's
Mm.
going to just stay in the air? It like just to see what's going to happen. But even when that happens, I'm like, I feel kind of like bad about it, where I'm like, am I cheating right now? I might be cheating right now.
Th-
Um
there's like your character being situationally aware. Like,
right.
there's always this moment, and it happens all the time with us as players or a player, where they're just like, I would have tackled something differently if I'd have known this or
Mhm.
realized this. And if you were actually there, you would have seen this. Your character would have known
Right.
flapping wings actually flying, and not necessarily that it's, a floating weird psychic situation. So like,
Mhm.
I don't think questions like that is like cheating. But
Right.
if you're trying to go like, oh, that thing's resistant to psychic damage,
Right.
can I tell if its mind is fortified? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's where you're just like, all right, you're trying to figure out if that thing has eye beams here or something,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not crazy. Have you ever there's always that thing where a person does that quick modify. You know what I mean? Like make up that random name for the NPC or something like that. But have you ever done that reflavoring or re-adding of something and then forgotten? Obviously, you know what I mean? Like I gave people a ship and forgot that I let them add bazookas to it. And then he was like, "Can I use those bazookas?" I was like, "Fuck, I did say that. Shit." I said
Yeah.
bazookas specifically. So now I got to come up with that. But like specifically with a creature. I feel like
With
I've done it. I
a
can't recall one at the moment. I know I've done it though.
with a creature, I've given creatures things that I have regretted after it was dead. So like I gave a one of my creatures, it was just a like a regular creature. I forget what type of creature it was. But I just used the regular stat blocks, except made its bite also do poison damage, because I wanted to
Mm.
flavor it to this like temple that they were moving through that was like a lot of poison stuff. So I made its bite also do poison. And when they were in the fight with it, I try to be very cinematic in my like description of things, and so I was describing it of having these massive fangs that had just like poison dripping from them. It looked like it was just oozing from the
I
fangs.
got you.
And then
I
it
already got you.
died, and they were like, "We harvest all of its teeth to use as poison daggers going forward." And I was like, "Yep, yep, nope, that'll work. Yep, I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't work."
I would
And
have
then
said that like they're from like, I would have made that a non-rechargeable
oh,
X amount of
100%. Yeah,
charges.
it
Yeah.
wasn't a continuing thing.
Yeah.
I also made it so that like it's not going to stay good forever. They didn't have the capabilities to like preserve it well or like bottle it or anything like
Yeah.
that. So it wasn't a something that was like really useful long term, but I was like, "Ooh, yep, you have just poison daggers now," because they were like, I described them as dagger like for the fangs. Like I really, yep,
That's
I set
fair.
myself
I
up
get
here.
that.
um
I totally feel that.
do you have something like that?
I just know that I've had to backtrack on certain things like that, where if it's like they try to get it afterwards, and I'll just do like video gamey, like you destroyed it too much, or like it
Yeah,
was too whatever. I've had to do that.
I do a lot with survival rolls. Like anytime you want to like harvest
Hmm.
something from a body, you have to make a survival roll. If it's not like there's different DCs for different things. So like if you're like trying to harvest an eye, that's very different than like trying to skin it. Like it's just yeah, it works well.
I have to like sometimes like jack up like the coolness of if I'm using like a more appropriate DC creature,
Hmm.
like that's when I'll give it like, something like a multi attack or like just some sort of cool, almost like a Laren type of thing.
Yeah.
But end up what I end up doing more is end up using a crazier DC creature that has no business fighting that lower level
Hmm.
people. And then if it does, I don't know, 3d6 for the attack, I'm just doing one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I nerf that, but I give it all those cool things
Yeah.
because it's so that way they can still feel epic and cool.
Oh,
Like, and then when they think about it in retrospect, it's like, wow, we were not that strong type of thing.
yeah,
But I
I
go
bring in
that way.
high CR creatures and like bring down their armor class a little bit, tank
Mhm.
their HP a little bit. Usually what I'll do is like I depending on what their damage output, because if I want to throw like a storm giant at like low level characters, like they will be obliterated in one hit. So I'll
Mhm.
do like roll damage, take half, or something like that, which still results in like some big hits.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
like it also means that if I roll badly, it's like negligible.
Yeah.
So I that's very fun. I love a
Do
high CR creature that is just like leveled down a little bit.
there's this we could we're nearing that time
Hmm.
and I'm gonna have to go soon, but we could end on this hot take. I don't know if they've gone back with it, but I know that when D&D 1 was doing like the crit, the crit changes, like you couldn't
Hmm.
crit on spells, or you
Hmm.
can't crit on like sneak attack or something like that. I don't know if they
Hmm.
changed that. Um, did
I
they
hope so
change?
because it was so annoying.
I think they said it was like monsters can't crit or
Yeah,
something.
they said nothing other than player characters can crit, which is like a garbage take. Um,
I actually like that because
really.
somebody pointed out that it's always exciting for a player, right?
Hmm.
Because then if you get a low row, it's like, oh damn, at least it looks epic. But when
Hmm.
it's like this crazy dragon or like this crazy creature, and then it gets a shitty crit roll,
Hmm.
it makes it like, oh, because you're gonna announce it. Like a lot of times it's like, it's just like it got a 20 or it got a crit,
Right.
because sometimes somebody can do something, and then it just makes it seem a little lamer.
Right.
Um, I saw somebody counter with, instead of like take away that they can do crits or whatever, but
Hmm.
give almost everything a rechargeable thing.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
then the cooler out of the two actions of like a thing getting a crit or not, that's not as scary and lean forward as, did that thing roll a 5 or 6 to get whatever ability or weapon back.
Right.
But then it involves every character, every creature, goblin getting like, did it get a new spear? Did it,
Hmm.
call for help? You know what I mean? But those are more lean forward moments, because it's like,
Right.
oh, it's a crit. Oh, it was only a 3, whatever. But it's like, oh God, it didn't get that ability to summon more bad guys, or it didn't get that breath weapon back.
Hmm.
Give all the little things breath weapons. I don't. That was a counter somebody had thrown. I don't think that they had given everything
Yeah.
recharge weapons, but it was a good takeaway crits. Fine,
Right.
if you're
There has to
giving
be
them this thing.
something there to make them cool.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I
And
have
if you still
a
want to crit, you can still crit, but it's just one of those
right.
like, I was not as upset when that counter was thrown out there.
Right. And we could do a whole episode just talking about like critical hits and misses. Um so
Mhm.
I will not dive into this. But
Yeah, because
what I
I have
will
to go,
yeah, you have to
but
leave.
definitely we should write
But
this down. We're gonna write this
what
down in the doc.
what I will say is I do not use critical hits and misses as stated in the rules. There is no like if you get if you roll a critical hit, it is like twice what you roll on the damage because of that very situation of like if you get a critical hit and it's just like you roll ones on the die and now it sucks. That's garbage.
Yeah.
So for me, critical hits are always at least max damage with the potential of multipliers on top of it. So criticals can get crazy for me, and we can break all of that down in a critical episode. But like, yeah, I love.
Dang, now I want to say what
I
saw somebody do it similar. I saw somebody that at least they're rolling two things, but one of them is max. The fact that you do both is interesting because I was just like, oh, I know that it's like, oh, it's always going to be a little juicier, but making it as juicy as it can be.
Yeah,
we'll definitely. I'd like to talk about that. Like,
we'll do a crit episode.
Things as epic or as a crit. How good and how bad things can get.
Thank you everybody for coming out this week. We have missed you dearly.
So much.
We will exit out real quick here. Your 3 things that you have to do before Friday. Go to Walmart and buy a box of frozen toaster waffles. And eat as many of them as you can in one sitting. 2.
That's one.
Yeah, that's one. 2. Eat a nope. I just didn't eat. Come up with a monster that truly terrifies you. And 3. If the next time you roll a critical miss in one of your games, do something crazy with it. Break your weapon, lose your weapon, accidentally impale yourself. Do something crazy with your critical misses. We will be back on Friday. Maybe we'll talk about criticals. We also want to talk about the D&D summit that's happening today. So if you have any like questions or things that you want to toss at the summit, throw them in the Discord. Junie will be in the digital version of the summit today. So throw them in the Discord. We will try and get answers. And thank you all so much for being here. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you around. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.